The wedding contract is gone. They called me this afternoon and said they decided to use another company. I already knew there was a possibility I would not get it, but I honestly thought I had a strong chance after everything they told me during the presentation.
I am sorry. You really worked hard on that proposal, and from everything you told me, they seemed impressed with what you presented. Did they at least explain why they changed their mind?
That is the part I cannot stop thinking about. They gave the contract to Esther's company, and one of the coordinators mentioned some of the ideas Esther presented. Daniel, they are almost exactly the same things I planned to use. The welcome table, the dessert boxes, the arrangement of the traditional and continental meals. Those details were not public.
Esther is in the same line of business, so some ideas can look similar. I do not want us to accuse anyone because of that alone, but if the details are as specific as you are saying, then I understand why it is bothering you. Who had access to the full proposal?
Bisi saw some parts because she helped me with the costing. You knew what I was working on, but you did not see everything. Mama Ruth was the only other person who had the complete proposal because she asked me to send it to her so she could pray over it.
Grace, I have wanted to ask you this before, but I did not want you to think I was attacking her. Why does Mama Ruth always need to see your full business plans before she prays for you? Prayer does not require client names, prices, budgets, and every detail of your ideas.
That is how she has always helped me. She likes to understand what I am dealing with before she prays. Mama Ruth has stood with me through difficult times, especially when my first business almost collapsed. I cannot suddenly start looking at everything she does with suspicion because Esther got one contract.
I am not asking you to become suspicious of her. I am asking you to pay attention to patterns. This is not the first time something you discussed with Mama Ruth later appeared around Esther. You wanted to start that premium food delivery service last year, and after Mama Ruth advised you to wait, Esther launched something very similar not long afterwards.
I remember, but we never proved that Mama Ruth told her anything. Esther could have had the same idea on her own. I do not want disappointment to make me unfair to someone who has genuinely helped me.
That is reasonable, but there was also the conference contract you turned down 2 years ago. Mama Ruth told you she did not have peace about the environment, and you listened because you believed it was spiritual advice. A few weeks later, Esther's company handled part of that same event. At some point, it is fair to ask questions without calling anyone evil.
That is what makes everything confusing. I do not want to become one of those people who blame somebody every time life does not go well. Maybe I made bad decisions. Maybe Esther is simply doing better business than I am. But sometimes it feels as if every time I am close to something important, something changes suddenly.
I know you are tired, and I know watching someone who started after you move ahead can hurt. But do not rush into saying someone is using your destiny or doing something spiritual against you. Look at everything honestly. Your business decisions, your confidence, the opportunities you turned down, and also the people who have access to information they should probably not have.
Sometimes I wonder what exactly I am doing wrong. Esther started after me, yet she has bigger clients, more staff, and 3 vans now. I keep praying and working, but it feels like I am always starting again after every disappointment.
Then, maybe this is the time to stop looking only at the disappointment and start studying the decisions that came before it. Not every closed door is a spiritual attack, but wisdom also means noticing when the same kind of thing keeps happening around the same people.
It is Mama Ruth. She sent a voice message.
Grace, my daughter, I heard about the contract. Please do not allow disappointment to enter your heart. Esther received the job, and I know that may be painful because you were also expecting it. But everybody has their season. Do not compare yourself with her or allow jealousy to enter your heart. When God is ready for you, nobody can stop what He has planned. We will pray about it later.
I did not tell her they rejected me. I have not even spoken to Esther since the presentation, so I do not know how Mama Ruth already knows I was competing for the same contract.
Esther may have told her. There could be a simple explanation, but what I find strange is that she is already warning you about jealousy when you have not even said anything to her about how you feel.
The day I sent her the proposal, she told me not to discuss it with too many people because some opportunities should be protected until they mature. I listened to her. I kept almost everything quiet because I believed she was protecting me.
Then do not accuse her, but do not ignore what is bothering you either. Respecting someone does not mean you stop asking reasonable questions when something does not make sense.
I just keep thinking about all the things I told her before they went wrong. The delivery business, the conference, this contract. I never connected them like this because I trusted her completely.
Trust is good, Grace, but trust should not make you afraid to think. For now, do not conclude anything. Just start paying attention.
Maybe that is what scares me. I am beginning to pay attention now, and I do not like what I am noticing. Why does it always seem to happen after I tell her?
You have been staring at that same invoice for almost 10 minutes. What happened? You were already quiet when I came in, and every time your phone rings, you look at it like you are expecting bad news.
Esther got the wedding contract. The same one I have been preparing for all these weeks. I could have accepted that normally, but some of the ideas she presented were almost exactly the same as mine. Daniel and I talked about it yesterday, and since then I have been remembering too many things.
What kind of things?
The food delivery business I wanted to start last year. Mama Ruth told me to wait because she did not have peace about the timing. I listened to her, then Esther started something very similar not long after. I told myself it was coincidence. Then there was that conference contract. Mama Ruth advised me not to go because she believed the environment was not spiritually good for me, and Esther later handled part of the catering.
Grace, those are not small things when you put them together. I remember that delivery idea because you had already started working on the packaging and menu before you stopped. You were excited about it until Mama Ruth suddenly told you to wait.
I know how it sounds, but I still do not want us to accuse her because of patterns alone. Mama Ruth has helped me in ways you did not see. When my first business almost failed, she was one of the people who kept encouraging me. She prayed with me, supported me, and even helped me emotionally when I felt completely useless.
I am not denying that she helped you. Someone can genuinely help you at one stage of your life and still become too involved later. What concerns me is how much information you give her. Every new idea, every client, every business problem, every opportunity, you tell Mama Ruth almost everything before you even know what you want to do.
I think I became used to it. Whenever something important came up, she would tell me not to rush and to bring it before God. At first, it felt like wisdom. After some time, I started feeling uncomfortable making big decisions without talking to her first.
That is the part you need to think about. Advice should help you become wiser, not make you afraid to move without someone's approval. You are a grown woman, Grace. You have a husband, you have experience, and you also pray. Why should every opportunity in your life first pass through Mama Ruth before you can decide what to do with it?
Maybe because I am afraid of making another mistake. After the first business failed, I lost confidence in myself. Mama Ruth always sounded certain. When she said she had peace about something, I felt safe. When she said she did not, I became afraid to continue.
That makes sense. But it also means fear may have given her more influence than you realized. I am not telling you to disrespect her or stop speaking to her. I am only saying you need to know whether these decisions are truly yours anymore.
Daniel said something similar yesterday. He told me to look at my decisions, the opportunities I turned down, and the people who have access to my plans. At first, I thought he was trying to make me suspicious, but now I am remembering things I had completely forgotten.
Then start with something simple. Do not confront anybody. Do not make accusations. Just stop sharing every detail for a while and see what happens.
You mean stop telling Mama Ruth about my business completely?
Not completely. Just stop giving her confidential information. You do not need to send every proposal, every client name, or every idea to someone because they want to pray for you. If she truly cares about you, she can pray without knowing everything.
She may notice. Mama Ruth always asks what I am working on, especially when she feels I am keeping something from her. She says secrecy sometimes opens the door for wrong decisions.
Privacy is not secrecy. Some things are simply yours to manage wisely. You do not give people access to every room in your house because you trust them. Your business should not be different.
I do not know this number. Yes, this is Grace Adiemi. Yes, I remember the event. All right. Yes, I can send the details today. Tomorrow morning is fine. Thank you very much.
What happened?
It is a wedding planner. Someone recommended me for a private wedding next month. She said they are looking for a caterer and want me to send a proposal today. If they like it, they will meet with me tomorrow.
Good. Then this is the perfect opportunity to do something differently.
Mama Ruth normally prays with me before I submit anything important.
Then pray yourself. Talk to Daniel if you want another opinion. Prepare your proposal properly and submit it. You do not need to announce every opportunity before it even has time to grow.
It feels strange that something as simple as not telling her is making me uncomfortable. I should be excited about this call, but part of me is already wondering whether I am doing something wrong by keeping it to myself.
That feeling alone should tell you how dependent you have become on her approval. You are not rebelling against anybody. You are only learning to make a normal business decision without first asking someone else whether you are allowed to make it.
Maybe I need to see whether things can actually move without me telling her first.
Exactly. Do not make this a test against Mama Ruth. Just protect the opportunity and handle it wisely. If everything goes well, good. If it does not, at least you will know the result came from the process and not because too many people had access to your plans.
This time I am keeping the details between me, Daniel, and the client.
Good. Let the opportunity breathe before you hand it to everybody.
Donald, I do not say it enough, but I really appreciate everything you have done for Frank. If you had not taken him in when things became difficult for us, I honestly do not know what we would have done. At least here, I know he has a comfortable place to stay and someone looking out for him.
Sarah, you do not have to keep thanking me. Frank is family. After his father died, I knew things would not be easy for you, and I could not just stand by and watch him struggle when I had the means to help. As long as he is under my roof, he will not lack the basic things he needs.
Uncle, I am grateful too. I know living here has saved me from a lot of pressure. There were times I could not even afford transport for interviews, and you helped without making me feel ashamed. I do not take any of that for granted.
Good. All I want is for you to become something meaningful with your life. There is no point rushing because people are moving ahead. Your time will come. Some people start slowly and still end up doing better than those who ran ahead of them.
That is what I keep telling him. Frank gets discouraged too easily when he sees people he went to school with doing well. Some of them are married now, some have businesses, some are already building houses. But everybody's journey is different.
I know that, Mum. I am not trying to compete with anyone. It is just difficult when everything I try seems to stop halfway. I have applied for jobs, tried 2 small businesses, and even worked with people who promised something better. Somehow, nothing has lasted.
That is why you should stop looking at your life as if you have failed. You have not failed. You just have not found the right opportunity yet. When the right one comes, you will know because it will not feel like you are forcing things.
Actually, something has come up.
What kind of opportunity?
Michael called me yesterday. The logistics company he works with is expanding, and they need someone to coordinate one of their new branches. He told his manager about me, and they asked me to send my details. I sent everything last night, and this morning they called to say they want to speak with me again.
Frank, that sounds serious. Why did you not tell me earlier? You have been asking God for a proper opportunity for so long. Maybe this is finally the answer you have been waiting for.
It sounds good, but do not get too excited before you know exactly what they are offering. People can make something sound attractive at the beginning. Then, when you get there, you realize it is not what you expected.
I understand, Uncle. That is why I have not made any decision yet. Michael says the salary is fair and there is room to grow, but the job is in another city. If I accept it, I will have to relocate.
Relocating is not a bad thing if the opportunity is good. Frank has stayed here for years. At some point, he has to begin building his own life too. If the job is stable, I think he should seriously consider it.
I am not against him building his life. I have always wanted that for him. I am only saying he should not leave a good situation because of one offer that may not last. He has somewhere comfortable here, he is not paying rent, and he has time to think properly before making a decision that could affect his future.
That is true, but I also do not want comfort to become the reason I remain in the same place forever. I am grateful for everything here, but I want to be able to stand on my own. I want to know that if I need something, I can provide it without always calling you or Mom.
And you will get there. I am not telling you to stay dependent. I just want you to make the right move, not the first move. There is a difference. If you leave because you are desperate to prove something, you may regret it later.
He should at least attend the interview and hear them out. There is no harm in knowing what the offer really is. After that, he can pray about it and decide wisely.
Of course. I never said he should reject it. Let him hear them out first. We will discuss it properly when he knows exactly what they are putting on the table.
That is what I plan to do. Michael said they may want me to come down next week if the next conversation goes well.
I am praying it works out. It would be good to see you finally settle into something stable and begin planning your future properly.
Let us not start packing his bags yet. One step at a time.
Frank, call me as soon as you hear from them again, and whatever happens, remember how much your uncle has done for you. Do not allow any opportunity to make you forget family.
I will not, Mum. I know what Uncle Donald has done for me, and I will always be grateful.
Go safely, Sarah. Frank is fine here. I will make sure he does not make any rushed decision.
That is why I have peace whenever he is with you.
Uncle, if this job works out, I think it may be good for me. I have been praying for something that will force me to take responsibility and stop depending on you for almost everything.
Let the offer come first. There are things I have been planning for you too, and what I have in mind may be better than moving to another city to work for someone else. Just do not make a decision before we talk properly.
You are planning something for me?
Yes, but I do not want to speak too early. When everything is clearer, I will explain. For now, focus on the interview and keep an open mind.
All right. Thank you, Uncle. I really hope something finally works this time.
Mum, Frank is talking about leaving again. This time it looks serious.
I have finished the proposal for the wedding planner. I changed a few things from the last one because I do not want to keep presenting the same style to every client. This one feels stronger, and for once I actually feel confident about what I am sending.
Then send it. You know your work, you understand what the client wants, and you have enough experience to prepare a good proposal without showing it to everybody first.
I know, but I still feel strange not telling Mama Ruth. Normally, I would have sent everything to her by now and asked her to pray with me before I submitted it. I keep feeling as if I am doing something wrong by keeping it between us.
That feeling is exactly what should concern you. You are not hiding anything sinful from her. This is simply a business matter. If keeping one client private makes you feel guilty, then you have probably become more dependent on her approval than you realized.
BC said almost the same thing. I think after my first business failed, I became afraid of making another big mistake. Mama Ruth always sounded certain about everything, so little by little, I started feeling safer when she had already approved what I wanted to do.
Advice is useful, but it should not make you afraid to think for yourself. You can pray, seek counsel, and still make your own decisions. Mama Ruth should not have to know every client name, price, and business idea before you are comfortable moving forward.
All right, I am sending it now. I have prayed, I have done the work, and whatever happens, I will accept the result without involving too many people. Done. I thought I would feel more nervous, but I actually feel better now that it is out of my hands.
Good. Now leave your phone alone and stop checking whether they have replied every 2 minutes.
I will try.
That is good. Prepare properly and go there with confidence. Do not start creating fear around it simply because things are moving smoothly.
I am trying not to. Part of me still wants to call Mama Ruth and tell her, but I think I should wait until there is something definite.
Then wait. You are allowed to keep an opportunity private while it is still developing.
Grace, I was nearby and decided to check on you. You have been unusually quiet these past few days, and whenever you become this quiet, I know something is happening. I hope everything is all right.
Everything is fine, Mama Ruth. Work has just been busy, and I have been trying to organize a few things at the shop.
Only work. You know you can always talk to me. Sometimes people start carrying things alone because they think they are becoming stronger, but there is still wisdom in allowing the right people to guide you.
I understand. I am only trying not to discuss every opportunity before I know where it is going. Sometimes too many opinions make me more confused.
There is nothing wrong with caution, but you and I are not strangers. I have walked with you through difficult seasons, so I hope you are not beginning to feel that you suddenly need to protect your plans from me.
It is not like that. I just think I need to become more confident in handling some things myself.
Confidence is good, but independence from wise counsel can easily become pride if a person is not careful. I'm not saying that to control you. I'm saying it because I know how quickly people can make decisions when an attractive opportunity appears.
There is actually a possible wedding job. Nothing is confirmed yet. I sent a proposal and they asked me to come for a meeting tomorrow.
That is good. Which company is handling the wedding?
I would rather not mention names yet. I want to wait until everything is clearer before I start discussing the details.
I see.
It is not personal. I am just trying something different this time.
Grace, I hope you are not allowing people to make you suspicious of me. I have never competed with you or wished you badly. Everything I have done has been because I care about you and do not want you making costly mistakes.
Nobody is turning me against you. I am only trying to learn how to make some decisions without feeling afraid.
Then I should tell you something. I had a troubling dream about you recently. I saw you dressed beautifully and moving forward happily, but someone was behind you carrying scissors. I woke up very disturbed.
Scissors, what do you think it means?
I do not know exactly, but it looked like someone wanted to cut short something good before it matured. That is why you must be careful with opportunities that suddenly appear promising. Not every open door should be entered immediately.
Do you think it could be connected to this wedding job?
I cannot say yet. Pray before you make any commitment. Excitement can make people ignore warnings they would normally take seriously.
Yes, good evening. Tomorrow morning, that is fine. 10 o'clock works for me. Yes, I will be there. Thank you very much. They moved the meeting forward. They want me there first thing tomorrow.
Then, take what I told you seriously. Pray tonight and make sure you truly have peace before going anywhere. There is no contract worth ignoring a spiritual warning for.
I will pray about it.
Good. Do not rush, because they sound interested. Sometimes the things we are most excited about are the things we need to examine carefully.
Mummy, you said you wanted to see me urgently. What happened?
Grace has another wedding opportunity. She refused to tell me the name because somebody has obviously started putting ideas into her head about keeping her business private.
Then, how do you know anything useful about it if she refused to tell you?
She did not tell me. Her phone did. The company called while I was sitting there, and the name came up clearly on the screen. Elite Moments Events. She was so busy trying to prove she could keep things from me that she did not even notice I had already seen what I needed.
Elite Moments. I know them. They handle expensive weddings. If they are seriously considering her, that could be a very big contract.
Exactly. That is why you should not sit here discussing how big it is. Go there tomorrow. Find out who is in charge and introduce your company before they make a final decision.
Mummy, Grace has already sent a proposal. If I suddenly appear there, will that not look strange? What if she sees me?
Since when did business become charity? If an opportunity is available, you go after it. Grace has had many chances and still behaves as if she needs permission before taking one step. You are different. You know how to move when a door opens.
But you are the one who usually tells her whether to move or not. Sometimes I wonder if that is why she keeps missing these things.
Do not start questioning me now because you are enjoying the benefits. Grace is too slow, too fearful, and too sentimental. Even when something is placed in front of her, she will pray about it until the opportunity grows tired and leaves. If I did not push things in your direction, half the clients you have today would have gone to waste with her.
She trusts you completely, Mummy. If she ever realizes you have been passing information to me, she will be devastated.
Trust without sense is not my problem. Nobody forced her to tell me everything about her life. She comes willingly with proposals, prices, client contacts, and ideas because she wants somebody to tell her what to do. If she keeps handing me information, am I supposed to throw it away when my own daughter can use it?
Sometimes it still does not feel right.
It felt right when your company was struggling and you needed clients. It felt right when the first major contract came and you were celebrating. Do not suddenly develop principles now that the business is doing well.
I am not pretending I have not benefited. I am only saying this one may be risky because Grace is already becoming careful.
Then move quickly before she becomes too careful. Go to Elite Moments tomorrow and present yourself professionally. Do not mention Grace. Do not mention me. Tell them you heard they were organizing a wedding and wanted to introduce your services. If they already have a caterer, fine. But if they are still deciding, make sure they know you exist.
What if they ask how I heard about the event?
People hear about events every day. You are in the industry. Say someone mentioned it. Stop behaving as if you are going there to confess a crime.
And what did you tell Grace?
I told her I had a troubling dream and that she should be careful about rushing into the opportunity. By tomorrow morning, she may be so afraid that she delays the meeting herself.
You made up the dream?
I told her what she needed to hear. Grace is easiest to control when she thinks refusing my advice means disobeying God. Once fear enters, she starts doubting herself. I have watched her do it for years.
Mummy, that is more than just helping me with information.
Esther, do you want this business to grow or not? Nobody builds anything by standing around feeling sorry for people who refuse to use what they have. Grace had a head start before you and still allowed fear to keep her small. I am making sure my daughter does not make the same mistake.
All right, I will go there tomorrow.
Good. Dress properly, carry your company profile, and do not wait until afternoon. Get there early. If the opportunity is still open, put yourself in front of them before Grace has time to settle anything.
I hope this does not become something we regret later.
Regret does not pay salaries, Esther. Opportunities do.
Mama Ruth said she had a troubling dream about me. She saw me dressed beautifully and moving forward happily, but someone was following me with scissors. She thinks it may be connected to the wedding job, especially because the meeting was suddenly moved to tomorrow morning.
And because of that, you are thinking about cancelling the meeting?
I do not know yet. I was excited before she came, but now I cannot stop thinking about the dream. What if it really is a warning and I ignore it because I am desperate for a contract? I do not want to force myself into something God is trying to protect me from.
I understand why you are concerned, and I am not going to tell you that God cannot warn people through dreams. But a dream should not automatically take control of your decision, especially when you do not even know what it means. You had already prayed about this opportunity before Mama Ruth came. Did you feel anything was wrong then?
No. I actually felt peaceful about it. The proposal went well, they responded quickly, and nothing about the client seemed suspicious. It was only after Mama Ruth told me about the dream that I started feeling afraid.
Then be careful not to call fear discernment. If God is warning you, pray and seek clarity. But if the only reason you're about to cancel is because somebody else had a dream and interpreted it for you, then you are still allowing another person to make the decision.
She did not tell me to cancel. She only said I should be careful and make sure I have peace before I go. I do not think she is trying to control me.
Maybe she is not. But Grace, look at what keeps happening. An opportunity comes. You become hopeful. Mama Ruth says she has a concern, and suddenly you are afraid to move. Sometimes you eventually walk away from something you wanted, and later you tell yourself it must have been God protecting you. Have you ever stopped to ask whether all those warnings were actually from God?
Daniel, that is a serious thing to say. Mama Ruth has prayed with me through difficult times. She was there when I had nothing. I cannot just start doubting every spiritual thing she has ever told me because we are uncomfortable with a few situations.
I'm not asking you to doubt everything. I'm asking you to stop treating every word from her as if questioning it is questioning God. Those are not the same thing. She can be sincere and still be wrong. She can care about you and still misunderstand something. She is human.
Maybe I have made her opinion too important. I do not even like admitting that because it sounds as if I am blaming her for my own decisions.
I am more concerned about what it has done to us. There are times you discuss business, money, family matters, and even problems between us with Mama Ruth before you speak to me. Sometimes I hear about decisions after you have already prayed with her and made up your mind. I have kept quiet because I did not want to look insecure, but it has made me feel like I am standing outside my own marriage.
I did not know you felt that way. I thought I was only seeking spiritual advice. I never meant to make you feel pushed aside.
I know you did not do it deliberately, but when something happens between us and the first person you call is Mama Ruth, it affects me. I am your husband. I do not expect to control you, but I also should not feel like another woman has more influence over our home than I do.
I think I became afraid of making wrong decisions after my business failed. I stopped trusting myself. Mama Ruth always seemed sure of what to do, and I started leaning on that because it made me feel safe. I did not realize I was carrying that same dependence into everything else.
Then this meeting tomorrow is not only about a contract. It is about whether you can pray, think, Gather the facts and make a decision without waiting for someone else to tell you what God is saying about your own life.
What if I go and something goes wrong?
Then something went wrong. That does not automatically mean you disobeyed God. Life has risks. Business has disappointments. You cannot avoid every possible mistake by letting someone else decide for you. Pray tonight. And if you personally believe you should not go, stay home, but let the decision truly be yours.
I am going to pray, but I do not want to pray from fear. Before Mama Ruth came, I had no reason to cancel. I prepared well, the client invited me, and I have done nothing dishonest. Unless I genuinely feel I should not go, I think I need to attend that meeting.
Then attend it with a clear mind. Do not spend the whole time waiting for something terrible to happen because of a dream. Go there as a businesswoman who prepared for an opportunity.
I still feel uneasy, but I think part of it is because I am not used to doing this without calling Mama Ruth first.
You have prayed. You have prepared. Go and do your part.
It is Mama Ruth.
You do not have to answer every call immediately.
I will call her later. I do not want fear deciding for me.
Frank is talking seriously about leaving this time. His friend connected him to a logistics company in another city, and from the way he is speaking, I think he actually wants to take the job if they offer it to him.
Then you must make sure he does not go. I warned you about this from the beginning. Frank staying close to you is not something you should treat casually. If he leaves your control and starts building his own life, what you have been enjoying may not continue the same way.
I have kept him with me for years, exactly as you instructed. Whenever something came up that could take him away, I found a reason for him to remain. But he is getting older now. He is beginning to ask questions about why nothing is working for him.
Then give him answers that will keep him calm. You have money, use it wisely. Promise him something better than whatever is taking him away. He does not need to know why you are desperate to keep him close.
Sometimes I wonder whether all this is still necessary. I have businesses now, properties, investments, and enough money to live comfortably. Must Frank remain in my house forever before I can keep what I already have?
You are forgetting how all this started. Before Frank came to live with you, you were struggling from one business to another. You worked hard, but nothing stayed. Contracts slipped away. People promised and disappointed you. And every investment seemed to swallow your money.
I remember.
Shortly after Frank moved into your house, everything changed. Doors began opening without explanation. People who had ignored you started calling. Contracts you were not even qualified for came looking for you. You thought you suddenly became wiser than everyone else.
I worked for what I have, too. It was not as if I sat down doing nothing while money entered my account.
Nobody said you did nothing. Your work gave you somewhere to put what was coming. But the unusual favor around you did not begin because you suddenly learned business. I told you then that the boy carried something strong, and neither he nor his mother understood it.
You never explained everything clearly. You only said his destiny was unusually bright, and that if he remained under me, I would benefit from it.
Because that was all you needed to know. I did what was necessary, so that the opportunities that should naturally gather around him would begin to strengthen you instead. But there was a condition. He had to remain close, dependent, and under your influence.
So every time something failed for him, was that because of what you did?
Not every single thing. Do not become foolish. People fail for normal reasons too. But the important doors that could have carried him far from you were not supposed to stand easily. That is why I kept telling you to make sure he remained where you could control the direction of his life.
His mother believes I am helping him. Frank himself trusts me. Sometimes he even thanks me for saving him when his father died. If he ever discovers why I have been keeping him here, I do not know what he will do.
Then do not let him discover it. You did not bring him into your house and chain him there. You gave him comfort. You paid bills. You helped him whenever he needed money. As far as everyone is concerned, you are the generous uncle who refused to abandon his nephew.
That is what makes this new opportunity difficult. The job is not even bad. If I oppose it too strongly, he may become suspicious. Sarah already told him he should attend the interview and consider relocating if the offer is good.
Then do not oppose it strongly. That would be foolish. Encourage him in front of everybody, then quietly give him something more attractive to wait for. Tell him you want to start a business for him. Promise him capital. Promise him a car if necessary. Just make staying look wiser than leaving.
I have made promises before. He may begin to notice that some of them never happen.
Then this time, give him something immediately. Not everything you promise, but enough for him to believe the rest is coming. Once he rejects the job, you can slow things down again.
I only wanted my life to change. I did not think it would mean keeping another person's life standing still for this long.
Whether you thought about it or not, you enjoyed what came from it. So stop talking like a victim. Go home and handle Frank before that opportunity carries him away.
I already told him I have something bigger planned for him. He believed me, but he wants to hear details.
Good. Give him enough details to make the promise feel real. If necessary, transfer some money to him and tell him it is the beginning of the investment. Once he turns down the job, you have bought yourself more time.
I hope you know what you are doing.
I knew what I was doing when you had nothing. You were not asking so many questions then. Whatever you do, keep Frank there.
Grace, thank you for coming on such short notice. I know we moved the meeting forward suddenly, but the family wants to make a decision quickly so we can begin confirming vendors. We went through your proposal again this morning, and there are several things we really like.
Thank you. The change in time was not a problem. I already prepared everything I wanted to present, so I was happy to come. I also made a few adjustments after looking again at the number of guests and the kind of service you described.
That is actually one of the reasons your proposal stood out. You did not simply send us a general menu. You considered the older guests, the children, the traditional meals, and even how the food would be served without making the reception feel crowded.
I have learned that good catering is not only about cooking well. If the guests cannot move comfortably or spend too much time waiting for food, they will remember that frustration more than the meal itself. So I try to plan the service around the event, not only around the kitchen.
Good. That is the kind of thinking we need. The family is considering 2 other companies, but I can tell you honestly that you are among the strongest options. What we need from you now is your final pricing and confirmation that you can handle the full guest number without reducing the quality you presented.
I can handle it. I already have a reliable team, and if the contract is confirmed early enough, I can secure the additional equipment and staff without rushing at the last minute. I would rather prepare properly than accept something I cannot deliver well.
That is good to hear. Send the final figures before the end of today. We should be able to make a decision very soon.
Thank you, Lord. I almost allowed fear to keep me at home, and there was nothing frightening here at all. Grace, I have called you several times. After what I told you last night, I expected you to speak with me before making any decision. Please do not become careless, because you are excited about an opportunity. Spiritual warnings should not be treated lightly. Esther, what are you doing here?
Madam Grace, hello. I did not expect to see you here. I came to introduce my company to one of the event firms in this area. We have been trying to reach more planners directly instead of waiting for referrals all the time. So I decided to come around and leave our profile with a few offices.
That makes sense. I just finished a meeting upstairs.
Really? I hope it went well.
It did. I am waiting for their final decision now.
That is good. Hopefully this one works out better than the last contract. Mom mentioned that you had another wedding opportunity coming up, so I was already hoping something good would finally happen for you.
Mama Ruth told you about the wedding?
Only generally. She said you had another opportunity and that she was praying about it with you. She did not give me details.
I see. I never told her the name of the company or where the meeting was taking place.
Then this must just be coincidence. Like I said, I came around because there are several event companies in this area. I did not know you would be here.
Which company did you come to see?
I have a few names on my list. Elite Moments is one of them. I have heard about them before and thought it would be good to introduce myself.
Elite Moments is the company handling the wedding I just came to discuss.
Really? I honestly did not know that was the same opportunity. Mom only mentioned that you were working on a wedding job. She did not tell me it was connected to Elite Moments.
That is interesting because I only learned the meeting location after they called me last night.
Madam Grace, I am not following you around if that is what you're thinking. We work in the same industry. We are going to meet the same planners and hear about the same events sometimes. That does not mean every place I visit has something to do with you.
I did not accuse you of anything. I was only surprised to see you here.
I know. Maybe I am being too defensive. It is just that business is already competitive enough without family members misunderstanding each other. I genuinely hope your meeting went well.
Thank you.
Let me leave this profile and get going. I have 2 other places to visit before afternoon.
Very well. They liked the proposal and asked me to send my final pricing today. They said I am one of their strongest options. I almost stayed home because of that dream, but nothing about the meeting felt wrong.
Good. Finish the pricing and send it before you start overthinking everything again.
There is something else. Esther just walked into the same building carrying her company profile. She says she came to introduce herself to event companies in the area, but Elite Moments is specifically on her list.
That could still be coincidence. She works in the same business.
I know. That is why I did not accuse her. But she also said Mama Ruth told her I had another wedding opportunity. Esther claims she did not know the company was Elite Moments, yet somehow she is here the morning after Mama Ruth saw me.
Then do not jump to conclusions. Just remember everything clearly. If there is a pattern, you will eventually have facts without forcing anything.
That is what I am trying to do. Yesterday I would probably have explained all of this away immediately because I did not want to think badly about anyone. Now I am realizing there is a difference between accusing people and simply noticing when something does not add up.
Exactly. Finish your work and protect the information you have. You do not need to confront anyone today.
I will send the final price directly to the client and nobody else. I am not sending Mama Ruth the proposal, the figures, or anything connected to this job. Grace, please call me as soon as possible. I hope you did not go ahead without praying properly about the wedding with Elite Moments events. After the dream I told you about, I expected you to be more careful. Elite Moments events. I never told her that name. Mama Ruth, I came because something has been bothering me since this morning. In your message, you mentioned Elite Moments events by name. I remember clearly that when you asked me yesterday, I refused to tell you which company was handling the wedding.
Grace, there is nothing mysterious about that. When they called you yesterday, your phone was lying on the table beside me. The name appeared on the screen before you picked it up. I saw Elite Moments events there. I did not think it was something I needed to announce.
All right, that explains how you knew the name. But I also met Esther at their office this morning. She came there with her company profile and said Elite Moments was one of the companies she wanted to introduce herself to. That happened the morning after you saw their name on my phone.
Grace, I already explained this to you. Elite Moments is not a hidden company. They are known in the events industry, and I have been trying to introduce my business to more planners. I did not go there because I knew you had a meeting with them.
I am not saying you followed me. I am saying the timing is difficult to ignore. Yesterday evening, Mama Ruth saw Elite Moments on my phone. This morning, you arrived there carrying your company profile. Then you told me Mama Ruth had already mentioned that I had another wedding opportunity.
Grace, listen to yourself. Yesterday, you were refusing to tell me details because you said you wanted privacy. Today, you are standing in my house connecting ordinary events as if Esther and I are secretly working against you. This is exactly what happens when suspicion enters a person's heart.
I am trying not to be suspicious. That is why I came to ask, instead of making up an answer in my head. I have already experienced situations where something I discussed privately later appeared around Esther's business. I cannot keep pretending those things never happened simply because asking about them feels uncomfortable.
And I am telling you to be careful. Esther works in the same industry as you. You will hear about the same clients, attend the same places, and sometimes even compete for the same jobs. If every coincidence becomes evidence against us, you will eventually destroy relationships that have supported you for years.
Mummy, maybe I should leave you both to talk. I do not want Grace to feel as if I am sitting here defending myself when she already has concerns.
That is fine. We will talk later. Grace, I have known you long enough to know when something has entered your mind. Someone has been encouraging you to question me, and I can feel the distance already. I have never stopped you from succeeding. If anything, I have spent years praying that God would establish you.
Nobody told me to hate you. Daniel and Bissy only asked me to pay attention to things I normally ignore. I think that is what I am doing now. Paying attention does not mean I have already decided you are guilty of something.
But you are beginning to treat me like someone you need protection from. Yesterday, you would not tell me the company name. You ignored my calls this morning after I warned you about that dream. Now you have come here because Esther happened to visit the same company. Do you understand how painful that is after everything we have been through together?
I understand why you would feel hurt, and I am grateful for the ways you have helped me. But I also need to learn how to handle my own decisions without feeling that I am doing something wrong because I did not discuss every detail with you first.
There is nothing wrong with growing, Grace. But maturity does not mean rejecting counsel. You have made costly mistakes before because you rushed when you were afraid or excited. That is why I have always asked you to bring important things so we can pray properly.
I know. I am not saying I will never seek advice again. I am only saying I need to know where advice ends and my own responsibility begins.
Then let us not allow this situation to create unnecessary tension. How did the meeting go?
It went well. They asked me to send my final pricing, and they said they should make a decision soon.
Good. Send me the final proposal before you submit it. We can pray over it tonight, especially after the dream I told you about. If there is anything you need to adjust, perhaps God will give us clarity before the client makes a decision.
I have already prepared most of it. I just need to finalize the figures.
Then send it when you are done. You do not have to carry everything alone because you are trying to prove you can make decisions for yourself. There is no weakness in allowing someone who loves you to stand with you.
All right, I hear you. She had a reasonable explanation for seeing the company name. Esther may also have known Elite Moments before today, but that still does not explain all the other things. No, I have already prayed about this. She does not need the proposal.
Uncle, the logistics company called again this morning. They have finished the interviews and they are offering me the position. Michael was right about the salary too. It is not huge, but it is enough for me to rent a small place, take care of myself, and finally start building something without depending on anyone.
That is good news, Frank. At least it shows people outside can see that you have something to offer. But before you become too excited, have you looked carefully at what accepting it really means? You will leave this city, start paying rent immediately, and move somewhere you hardly know for a salary that may not leave much after expenses.
I have thought about that. It will not be as comfortable as living here, but I do not expect independence to be comfortable from the first day. They also said there is room to grow if I perform well. At this point, I think I need the experience as much as I need the money.
I understand, but this is why I asked you not to make any decision before we talked. I told you I had something in mind for you, and I was serious. Instead of going somewhere to build another man's company for an ordinary salary, I would rather help you start something of your own here.
You mentioned that before, but you did not explain what you meant. I did not want to depend on a plan that was still uncertain when I already had a real offer in front of me.
It is not uncertain. I have been looking at setting you up in the supply and distribution business. You already know people in catering, retail, and logistics, and I can provide the starting capital. If you handle it properly, you could be earning more than that salary within a year and still remain in control of your own time.
That sounds good, Uncle, but I have had opportunities before where we discussed doing something together and they never really started. I am not saying that to be ungrateful. I just do not want to reject another job because I am waiting for something that may take months.
That is fair, and I know I delayed some things in the past. Business does not always move when we expect it to. But I do not want you to think I am just talking this time. Check your account.
Uncle, you sent me money.
That is the beginning. Use part of it to start working on registration, branding, and whatever else you will need. I will add more once we settle the structure properly. I am giving you something now because I want you to know I am serious.
I did not expect this. Thank you. This is more than what I thought you were planning.
You are my nephew. I have watched you struggle for long enough. I do not want you leaving simply because you feel you must prove you can survive without me. There is nothing wrong with receiving help from family when that help can put you in a stronger position.
The company gave me until tomorrow to respond. Michael has really gone out of his way for me, and I do not want to waste his effort either. But if this business is genuinely ready to start, it may make more sense than relocating for an entry-level position.
Exactly. I am not trying to stop you from progressing. I am telling you not to exchange a bigger opportunity for the first thing that finally says yes. Stay here, build something that belongs to you, and let me help you start properly.
All right. I will think about it tonight before I give them my answer.
Think about it, but do not allow fear to convince you that every opportunity must be accepted because you have been disappointed before. Sometimes saying no to something good is how you make room for something better.
So, have you accepted? The manager asked me this afternoon whether you were still interested because they need your answer tomorrow.
I do not think I am going to take it anymore. My uncle has offered to help me start a distribution business here. He has already given me part of the money, and this time it looks more serious than the things we discussed before.
Frank, I will not tell you how to live your life, but are you sure? Every time something comes that can make you independent, your uncle suddenly has a better plan. I just do not want you calling me 6 months from now, saying the business never started.
I understand why you're saying that, but he actually transferred money this time. I cannot ignore that. Maybe I have been too quick to think leaving is the only way my life can move forward.
Then make sure the plan has dates, responsibilities, and real steps. Do not reject a confirmed job for promises that keep changing. I have known you too long to pretend I have not seen that pattern.
I hear you. I will make sure this one is different. Lord, I do not understand this. Every time I think something is finally changing, I end up waiting again. I am grateful for what Uncle Donald has done for me, but I do not want gratitude to become the reason I never stand on my own. Please show me what I am not seeing. If there is something wrong with the way I have been making decisions, give me wisdom to see it. If fear is keeping me here, deal with that fear. And if there is anything beyond what I can understand fighting against my progress, Lord, do not allow me to remain blind to it.
Frank, must you pray this loudly every night? People are trying to rest in this house.
Uncle, I did not realize I was disturbing you. I am inside my room, and I have not even been shouting.
It is becoming too much. Every day it is breakthrough, purpose, enemies, destiny. You are beginning to behave as if your whole life is under some kind of attack. Sometimes things are simply not working because life takes time.
I know life takes time. That is why I am praying for wisdom, not accusing anyone. I just do not want to continue going in circles without asking God to show me why.
Then ask Him quietly. This house is not a prayer camp. You can pray without disturbing everybody with the same thing every night.
All right, I will keep my voice down. He has never complained when I pray normally. Why does it always become a problem when I pray about my life moving forward?
So after everything that happened yesterday, did you eventually send Mama Ruth the final proposal?
No, I almost did, but I stopped myself. She asked me to send it so we could pray over it, and for a moment I felt guilty for refusing. Then I remembered that I had already prayed, prepared the work, and attended the meeting successfully. There was no reason she needed my pricing or the rest of the details.
Good. At least you are beginning to separate seeking prayer from handing somebody access to everything. What happened with Esther at Elite Moments still bothers me, even if Mama Ruth had a reasonable explanation for knowing the company name.
It bothers me too, but I am trying to be fair. Mama Ruth really did see the name on my phone, and Esther works in the same industry, so I cannot prove she was sent there because of me. I do not want to turn every coincidence into evidence just because I am suspicious now.
That is fair. Just do not go back to explaining away everything either. There has to be a middle ground where you can ask questions without accusing people.
That is what I am trying to learn. The more I think about the past, the more I realize there are things I accepted without ever checking them properly. I simply believed that if Mama Ruth said something was not right for me, then it must have been God protecting me.
That is why I keep telling you to look at those old situations carefully. Not because every one of them will prove something, but because you may discover that some doors did not actually close. You may have walked away from them yourself.
Grace Adeyemi, it has been a long time. I almost walked past without recognizing you.
Mr. Adebayo, I did not expect to see you here. It has been years. How are you?
I'm doing well. I still remember your food from those smaller events you handled for us. You disappeared after that proposal we discussed. I always wondered what happened to you.
I actually thought your company had decided not to continue with me. That whole situation discouraged me badly because I believed I had finally reached a bigger level. Then everything suddenly stopped.
Decided not to continue with you? That is not how I remember it. Your proposal was shortlisted. We asked you to revise the costing because the original figure was slightly above the approved budget, but we were still interested.
I am sorry, did you say you asked me to revise it? I remember receiving an email about the pricing, but I was advised that your company was no longer a safe opportunity for me, and that I should withdraw before I got into something difficult.
Advised? By whom? Nothing had gone wrong on our side. We were negotiating with more than one vendor, which is normal for a contract of that size. We waited for your revised figures, but you never sent them.
I was told that the delay and request for another quotation were signs that I should step away. I thought you people had already lost interest and were only wasting my time.
No, we sent you a direct request for revision, in fact. I remember asking my assistant twice whether you had replied because the team liked your presentation. Eventually, when we heard nothing, we moved on to other options.
Mr. Adebayo, do you remember which company eventually handled the contract?
Yes, Esther's company eventually came in. Not immediately, but not too long afterward. They approached us with a proposal that was already quite close to what we needed, so the process moved quickly from there. Yes, I assumed you two probably knew each other because some parts of their approach reminded me of what you had originally suggested. I never thought much of it because people in the same industry often use similar ideas.
Do you still have the old email you sent me?
I should. Most of our correspondence is archived. Give me a moment. Here it is. We thanked you for the proposal, asked for a revised quotation based on the adjusted guest number, and requested a response within 5 working days. There is nothing here saying we were rejecting you.
This is the same email.
Grace, are you all right?
I remember this clearly now. I sent the email to Mama Ruth because I was worried about the reduced budget. She told me not to reply immediately. The next day, she said she had prayed and did not have peace about the company. She said I should withdraw before I entered an agreement that would eventually bring trouble.
I obviously cannot speak about whatever advice you received, but from our side, there was no hidden problem. We simply wanted a revised price. If you had sent something workable, there was a strong possibility you would have received the contract.
For 4 years, I have believed that opportunity closed because something was wrong with it.
Sometimes, business misunderstandings happen. I would not torture yourself over something from years ago. You were still building your experience then.
Thank you. I appreciate you telling me the truth. I think I needed to hear it.
You are welcome. And if you're still catering professionally, send me your current company profile. We still organize events from time to time. There is no reason one old missed opportunity should be the end of everything.
I will. Thank you very much.
Grace, this is different from the other things. That company did not reject you. Mama Ruth told you to walk away, and then Esther later got the job.
I know. And Mama Ruth had the email. She knew the company, the budget issue, and exactly what they were asking from me. I remember sending her the whole conversation because I wanted her advice.
I am still not saying we know exactly what happened afterward, but you cannot call this coincidence and move on. You need to ask yourself how many opportunities you believed God closed when the person telling you to stop may have had another reason.
That is what frightens me. I can remember at least 3 important decisions I made because Mama Ruth said she did not have peace. I never went back to check any of them because once she said it was spiritual, I thought questioning her advice meant I was refusing God's warning.
Then do not panic and do not confront her yet. Start separating what you know from what you suspect. What you know now is that Mr. Adebayo did not reject you. You withdrew after Mama Ruth advised you to. What you also know is that Esther eventually received the contract. Anything beyond that still needs evidence.
For years, I have been asking God why doors keep closing for me. What if some of those doors were still open and I was the one walking away?
Then that is painful, but it also means you can stop walking away now.
I need to know how many times this has happened.
Daniel told me you wanted us to talk privately. He did not explain much because he said he preferred you to tell me yourself. Whatever the issue is, take your time and tell me what you actually know, not what you are afraid might be happening.
Pastor, that is exactly why I came. I am beginning to wonder whether someone has been benefiting from my life somehow. For years, opportunities have come close and then disappeared, while another person around me keeps moving forward with things that sometimes look very similar to what I was planning.
When you say someone may be benefiting from your life, are you saying you believe someone has spiritually taken your destiny?
I do not know what to call it. That is what scares me. I have heard people talk about stolen glory and people using another person's destiny, and recently I started wondering whether something like that could be happening to me. But I also do not want fear to make me believe things that are not true.
That is why I wanted us to speak with you. There are things happening that are genuinely concerning, but I do not want Grace jumping from evidence of manipulation straight into believing somebody has spiritually collected her destiny.
Good. Then let us separate those two things. Spiritual battles are real, and I will never tell you otherwise. But Christians also have to be careful not to use spiritual explanations to avoid examining ordinary dishonesty, poor decisions, unhealthy relationships, or manipulation.
The person I am concerned about is Mama Ruth.
All right, tell me why.
For years, I have discussed almost every important business opportunity with her. I would send proposals, client information, prices, and ideas because she said she wanted to pray over them. Many times she advised me not to continue because she said she did not have peace. I trusted her, so I usually stopped. Recently, I started noticing that some of the things I abandoned later appeared in Esther's business. The food delivery idea was one. There was also a conference I turned down after Mama Ruth warned me about it, and Esther later handled part of the catering.
Those things are worth paying attention to, but by themselves they still do not prove exactly what happened. What else have you discovered?
A few days ago, I got another wedding opportunity and decided not to tell Mama Ruth the details. She came to my house and saw the company name on my phone when they called. The next morning, I found Esther at that same company carrying her business profile.
We still accepted that Esther could have known the company independently, so we did not accuse anyone.
Then yesterday I met Mr. Adebayo, an old client. 4 years ago, I believed his company had rejected my proposal. Mama Ruth had told me after praying that I should walk away because she did not have peace about the company. I listened to her.
And what did you discover?
They never rejected me. They were waiting for me to revise my quotation. Mr. Adebayo still had the email. He said they were seriously considering me, but I never responded because Mama Ruth told me not to. Esther later got the contract.
That is more serious because now we have something factual. You believed a door had closed, but the door was actually still open when you chose to walk away.
Yes, and I only walked away because Mama Ruth told me she had prayed and believed I should not continue.
Did she ever tell you that God specifically said the company was dangerous? Or did she say she personally did not have peace about it?
Most times she said she did not have peace. Sometimes she would say she sensed something was wrong. But the way she spoke made me feel that continuing would mean ignoring a spiritual warning.
There is an important difference. Someone saying, "I do not feel comfortable about this," is advice. It should never automatically become, "God has forbidden you." Even spiritually mature people can misunderstand situations. Nobody should carry that kind of unquestioned authority over another adult believer.
I gave her that authority. She did not force me to send every document. I did it because after my first business failed, I became afraid of making another mistake. I wanted someone who seemed more spiritually certain than I was.
That is what I have been trying to help her see. Somewhere along the line, advice became permission. If Mama Ruth was uncomfortable with something, Grace became afraid to move.
Grace, there is no shame in admitting that you leaned too heavily on someone during a weak season. But now that you see it, you have to take responsibility for changing it. If you make Mama Ruth entirely responsible for every decision you made, you will still be giving her power over your life.
That is difficult to hear because part of me wants somebody to blame. I keep thinking about the years I lost, the contracts I could have taken, and how far my business might have gone if I had made different choices.
You are allowed to grieve what happened. And if Mama Ruth deliberately used your information to benefit Esther, that is wrong and should be addressed. But there are two questions here. What did she do, and what did you surrender? If you only answer the first one, you may escape Mama Ruth and later become dependent on somebody else.
So you do not think anyone has used my destiny?
I am saying we should not claim more than we know. Right now, you have evidence of unhealthy influence, possible misuse of confidential information, and decisions you made because you trusted someone's spiritual judgment more than your own responsibility. That is already serious. We do not need to add a supernatural explanation unless there is a real reason to do so.
That is exactly what I was hoping she would hear. Every strange pattern does not have to become a spiritual mystery before we take it seriously.
Correct. Sometimes believers become so interested in discovering who is using their glory that they stop asking practical questions. Who has access to my plans? Who keeps influencing my decisions? What am I repeatedly doing when opportunities come? Am I afraid to move without somebody's approval? Those questions can reveal a great deal.
I think I have spent years asking God why people are moving ahead while I remain in one place, but I never asked whether I was giving other people too much access to my life.
And there is another question you need to ask. What if nobody actually took what God put inside you? What if you became so afraid of making the wrong move that you kept handing somebody else the steering wheel?
That hurts, because I can see myself in it. Mama Ruth would advise me, but I was the one who cancelled meetings. I was the one who refused opportunities. I was the one who kept sending her everything because I wanted her to tell me whether it was safe.
And that means something important, Grace. If some of your stagnation came from choices you can now recognize, then your future does not depend on finding somebody to perform a mysterious recovery for you. You can start making healthier choices now.
But what if Mama Ruth really has been giving Esther my information? I cannot just pretend that part does not matter.
You should not pretend. If there is wrongdoing, it should be exposed properly. But do not confront her with accusations you cannot prove yet. Protect your information. Stop sending confidential things. Keep records and pay attention. Truth does not need panic.
That is what we have already started doing. Grace has stopped sending Mama Ruth her proposals, and we are trying to handle business decisions differently.
Good. Also, do not turn this into a campaign against Mama Ruth. Until you know more, keep the matter between the people who genuinely need to know. Suspicion can destroy innocent relationships just as easily as manipulation can.
I understand. I want facts, not fear. And I think I also need to learn how to pray without expecting somebody else to tell me what God has decided for me.
That is a healthier place to begin. Counsel should help you grow in wisdom, not make you permanently dependent on the counselor. Anyone guiding you spiritually should eventually make you stronger in your own walk with God, not frightened to make a decision without them.
For the first time, I am starting to see that this may be bigger than whether Mama Ruth betrayed me. Even if she did, I still need to understand why I gave her so much control.
Exactly. Find out the truth about her actions, but also recover responsibility for your own life. Do both.
Maybe I have been asking the wrong question all this time. Instead of asking who took my destiny, I should have been asking when I stopped taking responsibility for it.
Uncle, it has been almost a month since we discussed the distribution business. I have done the registration, worked on the name, spoken to 2 possible suppliers, and prepared everything you asked me to prepare. But we still have not moved beyond the first money you gave me.
Frank, business does not happen because you are impatient. I told you I was still arranging some things on my side. One of the people I planned to work with pulled out, and I do not want to throw money into something before the structure is right.
I understand that things change, but this is exactly what Michael warned me about. I rejected a confirmed job because I believed this was ready to start. If there is a delay, I can accept that. But I need to know whether there is actually a plan, or whether I am waiting again without knowing for how long.
Do not allow Michael to make you ungrateful. I already gave you money, and I have supported you for years. If I did not intend to help you, I would not have done any of that. Sometimes I feel as if the moment one thing does not happen exactly when you want it, you suddenly forget everything I have done.
I have not forgotten. I am grateful, and I say it all the time, but gratitude should not stop me from asking reasonable questions about my own future. I am getting older, Uncle. I do not want to keep depending on promises and hoping the next one will finally become real.
Then give me time to finish what I started. You are not suffering here. You have somewhere to live, food, support, and enough space to work things out properly. Some people would be grateful to have the stability you are complaining about.
That is the problem. I am comfortable enough to remain here, but not established enough to move forward. Every time an opportunity comes that can make me independent, something else appears and convinces me to stay. Then after I stay, everything becomes slow again.
So now you are saying I am the reason your life is not moving?
I did not say that. I am saying I have started noticing a pattern, and I do not want to keep pretending it does not exist. I have made my own mistakes too. I have been afraid, I have delayed decisions, and sometimes I have trusted promises more than facts. I am trying to take responsibility for that now.
Good. Then take responsibility instead of turning every disappointment into some deep mystery. You are becoming too obsessed with this idea that something is fighting your life.
I did not start thinking that way because of one disappointment. I started thinking because too many things keep ending at the same point. And every time I begin praying seriously about my purpose, breakthrough, or direction, you become unusually uncomfortable.
I become uncomfortable because you disturb the house. That is all. There is nothing deep about it.
I pray before meals and you do not complain. I pray normally in my room and you do not complain. I go to church and you do not complain. But once I start praying about stagnation, purpose, destiny, or anything standing in the way of my progress, suddenly I am too loud, too spiritual, or becoming extreme.
Because that kind of prayer is becoming unhealthy. Every night you are talking about enemies, attacks, destiny, and things being exposed. You are beginning to sound like somebody who believes everyone around him is responsible for his problems.
I have not accused anyone. I have actually been praying for God to show me my own mistakes too. I ask Him to correct me if I am the problem. So why does that trouble you?
It does not trouble me. I am tired of hearing it. This is my house, and I should not have to explain why I do not want someone praying loudly every night about invisible enemies.
Then I will lower my voice. But I am not going to stop praying about my life because it makes you uncomfortable. I have spent too many years moving in circles. If there is something I need to change, I want God to show me. If there is something I do not understand spiritually, I want Him to expose it too.
You are becoming stubborn, Frank. Be careful that this new boldness does not make you disrespect the people who have actually helped you.
I am not trying to disrespect you. I am trying to understand why asking God for direction now feels like an offense in a house where you always told me to trust Him.
Trusting God does not mean turning everything into warfare. Sometimes the reason people remain in one place is because they are not ready for the next level. Maybe instead of looking for what is fighting you, you should work on becoming more patient.
Maybe. But patience should not mean staying in the same place forever, because someone keeps telling me something better is coming. I think I have confused patience with fear for too long.
Believe whatever you want. Just keep the noise down and stop behaving as if this house is the source of your problems.
I never said the house was the problem. But Uncle, I want to ask you one thing before you go.
What?
Why does the idea of me leaving this house always seem to bother you more than the idea of me remaining unsuccessful?
Because I know the world better than you do. I am trying to protect you from making foolish decisions because you are frustrated.
That may be true. But I am beginning to wonder whether staying here has also become a decision I need to question.
Do not allow people to fill your head with nonsense, Frank. You have a good home here. Do not destroy something good because you are desperate to prove independence.
I am not desperate to prove anything. I just do not want comfort to become the reason I never discover what my life could have become outside this house. Lord, if I am wrong, correct me. If I am afraid, strengthen me. But if there is something I have refused to see because I am grateful to the wrong person, open my eyes.
After everything Pastor Elijah said, I do not want to confront Mama Ruth based only on suspicion. Mr. Adebayo proved that I walked away from a real opportunity because of her advice, but that still does not prove she has been deliberately giving my information to Esther.
Then we need something that cannot be explained as coincidence. Not another real client, because I do not want us involving someone's business in this. We need information that does not exist anywhere except between us and Mama Ruth.
I understand what both of you are thinking, but I do not want this turning into games and traps. If you're going to test anything, it should be harmless. Nobody should lose money, damage their reputation, or be accused because of something we created.
I agree. I am not trying to embarrass her. I just need to know whether information I tell her privately is reaching Esther. If it is not, then at least I can stop connecting things that may have nothing to do with each other.
My friend Tunde manages events at Cedar Crest Hotel. We can tell him exactly what we are doing so nobody at the hotel is confused. We create a fake corporate retreat with a specific date and catering requirement. Nothing gets booked and nobody wastes resources. If Esther somehow contacts that hotel asking about the same retreat, we will know where the information came from.
Only if the details are specific enough that she could not reasonably hear them somewhere else.
Then I will make them specific. A 3-day management retreat at Cedar Crest Hotel next month, 75 guests, and a healthy Nigerian breakfast station on the first morning. I will tell Mama Ruth that the company has not announced anything yet, and that I was contacted privately.
And none of us mentions it anywhere else. Tunde only knows because he is helping us confirm whether someone comes asking about it.
Fine. But once you get your answer, do not keep testing her again and again. One clear result should be enough to decide what you do next.
I do not even want the result I am afraid we may get. A part of me still hopes everything has a reasonable explanation.
Grace, I am happy you came. You have been distant since our last conversation, and I do not want misunderstanding to destroy a relationship we have built for years.
I do not want that either. I have been thinking about what Pastor Elijah said, about taking more responsibility for my decisions. I still value counsel, I just need to learn how to balance it properly.
That is all I have ever wanted for you. Growth does not mean refusing help. It means knowing how to receive wisdom without becoming careless.
Actually, something new came up today. I was contacted about a corporate management retreat that may happen at Cedar Crest Hotel next month. It is supposed to be 3 days for about 75 people, and they want a healthy Nigerian breakfast station on the first morning.
That sounds like a good opportunity. Which company is organizing it?
They asked me not to discuss the company name yet because the retreat has not been announced. I only know the hotel, the dates, and what they may need from me. They said they would contact me again once management approves everything.
That is fine. You do not have to tell me the company name. But after everything that has happened recently, I hope you will not rush, because you are trying to prove that you can make decisions alone.
I will be careful. I only told you because I thought you could pray with me about it. Please keep it between us for now, because they specifically asked for confidentiality.
Grace, you should know me better than that. What you tell me in confidence stays with me. I have never had any reason to expose your private matters to anybody.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Hello, Tunde. Yes? Are you serious? What exactly did she ask? All right. Please do not say anything to her about us. Thank you.
What happened?
Esther went to Cedar Crest this morning. She asked Tunde whether they were expecting a management retreat next month because she heard they might need an outside caterer.
Did she mention anything specific?
She asked whether the retreat was for about 75 people and said her company could provide a healthy Nigerian breakfast station if the client wanted one.
75 people and the breakfast station?
Exactly what you told Mama Ruth yesterday. Tunde said there is no such retreat in their system, so he told Esther he did not know anything about it.
Nobody else knew those details apart from the 4 of us, and Tunde only knew because we created the test with him. I even told Mama Ruth the information was confidential. She looked at me and said what I told her stayed with her.
Now you have your answer.
I kept hoping there would be another explanation. With Elite Moments, I could say Esther already knew the company. With the old contract, I could say maybe Mama Ruth only gave bad advice and Esther came in later by chance. But this retreat does not exist.
Then we know one thing for certain now. Information you gave Mama Ruth privately reached Esther. We still should not add things we cannot prove, but this part is no longer suspicion.
And all these years I was blaming myself for being jealous whenever something felt strange. She would tell me to guard my heart, and I would go home feeling guilty for even questioning anything.
Do not confront her while you are this emotional. You finally have facts. Use them wisely.
I'm not going there to shout. I just need to hear what she will say when there is no coincidence left to hide behind. It is Mama Ruth. Grace, I have been praying since yesterday. There is something serious I believe you need to hear about someone very close to you. Please come and see me as soon as possible. Now she says God has shown her something about someone close to me.
Grace, I asked you to come because I have been praying since yesterday, and I do not want to ignore what has been troubling me. I believe someone very close to you is becoming an unhealthy influence in your life. The person may look concerned, but I sense jealousy underneath the concern, especially concerning your business and the decisions you have been making recently.
You said in your message that God showed you something about someone close to me. Who exactly are you talking about?
I did not want to mention a name immediately because I wanted you to listen without becoming defensive. But I am concerned about BC. Since she became more involved in your business, you have changed. You question things you never questioned before. You keep information from me, and you suddenly seem to believe that becoming independent means distancing yourself from people who have helped you.
Why do you think BC is jealous of me? She has been helping me with the shop for years, and most of the things she says are about protecting my business and making my own decisions.
Jealousy does not always look like hatred, Grace. Sometimes it comes through constant questioning, making you suspicious of people, and slowly separating you from relationships that were helping you. I'm not saying Bissy hates you. She may not even understand what is happening in her own heart, but I think you should stop discussing your opportunities with her for some time and watch what happens.
That is interesting because Bissy is actually one of the people who has been asking me not to accuse anyone without evidence. She told me to separate facts from suspicion. Even when I was upset about Esther appearing at elite moments, she did not tell me to fight you or confront Esther.
That does not change what I sense. Grace, spiritual things are not always obvious at the beginning. People can speak reasonable words and still carry something unhealthy inside them. You have to learn that not every person who sounds logical is safe for your destiny.
I understand what you are saying. But before I distance myself from my sister because of what you sensed, there is something else I need you to explain.
What is it?
Yesterday I told you about a management retreat at Cedar Crest Hotel. I told you it would be for 75 people, that they wanted a healthy Nigerian breakfast station, and that the information was confidential because the company had not announced the retreat.
Yes, I remember. I told you I would pray about it.
Esther went to Cedar Crest this morning, asking about that exact retreat. She mentioned 75 guests and the healthy Nigerian breakfast station. She offered her company for the catering.
What do you mean there was no retreat?
I created the story. BC's friend manages events at Cedar Crest, and he knew what we were doing. Daniel Bissy and I wanted to know whether information I gave you privately was reaching Esther. So we created something that did not exist anywhere else.
Grace, you deliberately lied to me just to test me? After everything I have done for you, this is what you have reduced our relationship to.
I am not proud that it became necessary, but I needed an answer. I have spent too long wondering whether I was imagining things. Nobody outside the people involved in the test knew those details. Yet, Esther walked into Cedar Crest, repeating them the following morning.
Esther is in the event industry. She speaks to hotels and planners all the time. Perhaps she heard something and assumed there was an event coming.
She could not have heard about an event that does not exist, and she could not randomly know that the imaginary event had 75 guests and a healthy Nigerian breakfast station. Those details came from me, and I gave them to you.
Be very careful, Grace. You are already determined to believe the worst about me, so anything I say now will sound like an excuse. Maybe I casually mentioned that there could be something happening at Cedar Crest. That does not mean I have been working against you.
I specifically told you the information was confidential. You looked at me and said, "What you tell me in confidence stays with me." If you mentioned it to Esther after that, then you knew you were breaking my trust.
I may have mentioned the hotel in passing. Esther is my daughter. We talk about business. I did not send her there to steal anything from you. If she chose to follow up because she saw an opportunity, that was her decision.
Then this is not the first time.
Grace, do not start gathering every disappointment from the last 5 years and putting it on my head because of one conversation. You made your own business decisions. Nobody forced you to reject jobs or abandon ideas.
I know that. Pastor Elijah already helped me understand my responsibility, and I am not blaming you for every decision I made, but taking responsibility for my choices does not mean pretending you did nothing wrong. I trusted you with information because you presented yourself as someone praying for me. If that information was being passed to Esther, then I have a right to know how far it went.
So now Pastor Elijah, Daniel, and BC have all convinced you that I am the problem. Nobody convinced me of this. The fake retreat did. You are the only person outside Daniel and BC that I told, and Esther repeated the exact details the next morning. Are you accusing me of trying to separate you from your sister now?
I am saying I will not distance myself from her because you tell me you sense jealousy, not after what I have discovered. If you have something factual about Bissy, tell me. But I will not make another serious decision because someone says they had a spiritual impression.
You have become very bold.
Maybe I am finally learning to ask questions without feeling guilty.
And perhaps one day you will discover that all these people encouraging you to question me were not protecting you after all.
Maybe. And if that day comes, I will look at the facts and deal with it. But today, the person I asked to keep something confidential gave it to Esther. I came here hoping there was still an explanation I had not considered. Instead, you first pointed me toward my own sister. And when I told you about the test, you admitted you may have mentioned the information to Esther. I need time to think about what that means.
Do not leave here acting as if I have confessed to destroying your life. I have prayed for you, supported you, and stood by you when people who are talking now were nowhere around.
I remember the good you did for me, and I will not erase it. But good things you did in the past cannot make something wrong acceptable now. For now, please do not ask me for any more proposals, client names, prices, or business plans. I need space to understand what has been happening.
Grace, be careful that pride does not make you destroy your own covering.
If something is truly from God, asking truthful questions should not destroy it.
Frank, I have been wanting to ask you something since you turned down that logistics job. How far has the business your uncle promised you gone now? The last time we spoke, you said he had already given you some money and you were waiting for the rest.
That is still where everything is. I registered the business, started working on suppliers, and even prepared the things he asked for, but nothing has moved beyond that. Every time I ask Uncle Donald, there is another reason to wait. A partner pulled out. The market is not right. He needs more time to arrange the structure. I am beginning to feel foolish for rejecting that job.
I did not want to say too much before because I knew you would think I was judging your uncle. But this is not the first time something like this has happened. An opportunity comes that can move you forward, then suddenly there is a better promise at home. You stay because the promise sounds bigger, and after you stay, everything becomes uncertain again.
I know the pattern looks bad, but Uncle Donald has genuinely helped me. That is what makes this difficult. He did not just talk about helping me. He gave me somewhere to stay when things were hard, paid bills, and supported me when I had almost nothing. I do not want frustration to make me rewrite everything he has done as if it was evil.
I am not asking you to erase the good. Someone can help you in one area and still hold you back in another. The question is whether his help is actually moving you toward independence or keeping you comfortable enough not to leave.
That question has been disturbing me lately. I used to think living with him gave me time to prepare properly for life. But now I look back and realize I have been preparing for years. I am still waiting for the point where preparation becomes movement.
Exactly. Think about the scholarship opportunity you had 3 years ago. You were ready to go, then your uncle convinced you it was too risky and promised to sponsor a professional program here instead. That program never happened. Then there was the partnership with Kunle. You almost joined him, but your uncle said he did not trust the people involved. 6 months later, that business was doing well without you.
And the job before this last one. I was supposed to start with that manufacturing company, but Uncle Donald kept telling me not to rush because he was trying to connect me with something better. By the time I decided I would take the job anyway, they had already filled the position.
Frank, I am not telling you that every opportunity would have succeeded. Some of them might have failed. That is normal. What bothers me is that most of them ended before you even had the chance to find out, because you were persuaded to stay where you are.
That is the part I cannot explain anymore. Uncle Donald says he wants me to stand on my own, but almost every decision he strongly supports somehow keeps me under his roof. Whenever I talk about leaving, he becomes unusually serious about protecting me from making a mistake.
Then ask yourself something simple. If your uncle truly wants you to rise, why does every plan he supports keep you inside his house?
I asked him something similar recently. I asked why the idea of me leaving seems to trouble him more than the idea of me remaining unsuccessful. He said he is only trying to protect me because he understands life better than I do.
Maybe he believes that, but protection has to lead somewhere. If somebody keeps protecting you from every road that leads away from them, eventually you have to ask whether the protection is really for you.
I have also noticed something else. Whenever I pray normally, Uncle Donald does not care. But when I start praying seriously about my purpose, stagnation, or anything standing against my progress, he becomes angry. He tells me I am becoming too spiritual or disturbing the house.
That is strange, especially because he has never had a problem with you being a Christian. But I do not want you to jump from that straight into thinking he is doing something spiritual against you. First, deal with what you can actually see. You are too dependent on him, and that dependence is influencing your decisions.
I agree. I do not want to start accusing him because my life is difficult. But I also cannot ignore how uneasy I feel anymore. It is as if every time I get close to standing on my own, something pulls me back to the same place.
Then stop waiting for another person to decide when you are ready. Start making decisions with facts, prayer, and responsibility. You can appreciate your uncle and still build a life outside his house.
I think part of me has been afraid that leaving would look ungrateful. My mother constantly reminds me that Uncle Donald rescued us when my father died. Sometimes it feels as if becoming independent means I am rejecting the person who helped me.
Independence is not rejection. If someone truly helped you so you could stand, they should be happy when you finally stand. Gratitude should not become a permanent contract to remain dependent.
I need to stop making decisions from guilt. Even if Uncle Donald means well, I cannot keep living like this. And if there is anything deeper I do not understand, I am going to pray until God gives me clarity.
Pray, but also act. Do not spend another year asking for direction while refusing to move because you are waiting for your uncle to approve the direction.
You are right. I think I have been calling fear patience for too long. Scholarship, partnership, manufacturing job, logistics job. Every one of them ended when I decided to stay. I kept blaming bad luck, but some of these doors did not close on me. I walked away from them. Lord, I do not want suspicion. I want truth. Show me where I have been foolish. Show me where fear has controlled me. And if there is anything beyond what I can see, expose it. I am tired of living in circles.
Grace, I asked you to come because I do not want yesterday's conversation to end with assumptions. Esther knows you have questions, and I think it is better for everyone to speak openly instead of allowing suspicion to grow into something worse.
I came because I want the truth, not another argument. Yesterday already proved that information I gave you privately reached Esther. I am not here to debate that part again. What I need to know is how long it has been happening and how much of my business information you have passed to her.
Grace, I should probably answer some of that myself. Cedar Crest was not the first time Mum told me about an opportunity you mentioned to her. Sometimes she gave me names of companies or events and told me I should introduce my business. Other times, she shared ideas you were considering because she thought I could develop them faster.
So when I kept seeing things around your business that looked familiar, I was not imagining it. The delivery service, some of the event contacts, even certain ideas I had discussed privately. You knew some of them came from me.
Some of them, yes, not everything. There were times Mum would simply tell me she had heard about a possible client and I did not know where the information came from. But there were other times when I knew you had discussed something with her first. I kept telling myself that information is not ownership and that if an opportunity was still available, there was nothing wrong with pursuing it.
And that is exactly what I was trying to do. I was helping my daughter. Grace, you had good ideas, but you were often too afraid to act on them. You would talk, pray, worry, delay, and sometimes abandon things completely. Esther was willing to move. I did not see why an opportunity should disappear simply because you were not ready to use it.
You were one of the reasons I believed I was not ready. That is the part you keep avoiding. I would bring something to you, and sometimes you would tell me not to move because you did not have peace. Then information about the same opportunity somehow reached Esther. You cannot call that simply helping your daughter. What about Mr. Adebayo's company? I sent you their email asking me to revise my price. You told me you had prayed and that I should walk away because something did not feel right. I obeyed you. Esther later got the contract. Did you tell her about that company?
Mummy did tell me about them. She said there was an opening because another caterer was no longer pursuing the contract. She gave me enough information to know what they were looking for, and that helped me prepare before I approached them.
Another caterer? You mean me? I was the caterer who was no longer pursuing it because you convinced me to walk away.
Grace, you were nervous about the reduced budget already. I genuinely believed you would struggle with that contract. Esther had lower operating costs then and was in a better position to take the risk. I did not sit down thinking, let me destroy Grace. I saw an opportunity that you were not going to use and passed it to my daughter.
You decided I was not going to use it after helping convince me not to use it. Then you gave the information to Esther without telling me. That is not guidance. That is manipulation.
Grace, there is something else you should know. Mum used to tell me that you had talent but lacked courage. She said you could have gone far, but you were too afraid to make difficult decisions. Whenever she gave me information, she would tell me not to behave like you and waste opportunities by overthinking everything.
She was telling me to trust her because I was afraid, while telling you privately that my fear made me unfit for the opportunities I brought to her.
Do not twist everything I said. I encouraged both of you differently because you are different people. Esther needed boldness. You needed caution. I was trying to help each of you according to what I believed you needed.
No, Mama Ruth. If you truly believed I needed caution, you could have advised me without taking my private information to your daughter. If you believed I had abandoned an opportunity, you could have asked me whether I minded Esther pursuing it. You did neither, because you knew I would object.
Maybe I handled some things badly. I can admit that. But you are making it sound as if every good thing Esther has came from you, and that is not true. She worked hard for her business, too.
I never said Esther did not work hard. This is not about taking credit for her entire business. It is about the opportunities and ideas that came through information I trusted you with. Esther can be hardworking and still have benefited from something that was wrong.
She is right, Mummy. I have defended this for too long because the business was growing and I did not want to ask difficult questions. Cedar Crest finally made me see how bad it had become. Grace specifically said the information was confidential, and you still sent me there the next morning.
So now both of you are putting everything on me? Esther, you took those opportunities willingly. You never returned a contract because you suddenly remembered Grace. When the money came, you were happy.
I know. I am not pretending I am innocent. I benefited, and sometimes I knew exactly what I was doing. That is why I am saying the truth now.
I trusted you both. Esther, I celebrated your growth without knowing that some of the doors opening for you came from things I had shared privately. And Mama Ruth, I allowed your words to carry so much weight because I believed you were protecting me spiritually. That is the part that hurts more than losing any contract.
Grace, I never hated you. I never wanted your life destroyed. I saw my daughter struggling, and I wanted to help her with whatever advantage I had. Maybe I crossed lines I should not have crossed, but I was not sitting somewhere wishing you evil.
You did not have to hate me to harm me. You only had to keep justifying what you were doing. I am not going to shout, and I am not going to start fighting over old contracts. But from today, you will no longer have access to my business information. And Esther, if there are current clients or active opportunities you know came directly through information I gave Mama Ruth, I expect you to tell me.
I will. There are some records I need to go through, but I will not hide anything from you anymore.
After everything we have been to each other, is this how you want our relationship to end?
I did not say it has ended. But it cannot continue as if nothing happened. Forgiveness and trust are not the same thing. I may forgive you, but trust has to be rebuilt with truth. I came here wondering whether I had imagined the whole pattern. Now I know I did not.
You have been quiet since you came back. I did not want to push you before you were ready to talk, but I can see that the conversation did not go the way you hoped.
Esther admitted it. She said Mama Ruth had been giving her information for years. Sometimes client names, sometimes ideas, sometimes opportunities I had already discussed with Mama Ruth. She even admitted that the Mr. Adebayo contract reached her through Mama Ruth after I walked away from it.
I'm sorry, Grace. I know you wanted there to be another explanation, even after everything we discovered.
I kept hoping I was wrong, because being wrong would have been easier than this. Mama Ruth was not just somebody I spoke to occasionally. I trusted her with things I did not even tell everyone in my family. When she warned me about something, I believed she was protecting me. Meanwhile, some of the same information was helping Esther move ahead.
What did Mama Ruth say when you confronted her?
She said she was only helping her daughter. She said I was often too afraid and too slow to use the opportunities in front of me, so she did not see why Esther should not benefit from them. She even said she never forced me to reject anything.
That part is technically true, but it does not excuse what she did. Advising you to step away from something and then passing the same information to Esther is not innocent. She abused the trust you gave her.
I know, but the painful thing is that she is also right about something I do not want to admit. She did not force me. I was the one who became afraid of making decisions. I was the one sending her every proposal and waiting for her to tell me whether she had peace. Somewhere along the line, I stopped trusting myself completely.
Taking responsibility for your part does not mean carrying responsibility for hers. Both things can be true. She manipulated your trust, and you also gave away too much authority because you were afraid.
I keep thinking about all the times you tried to tell me something was wrong. I would defend her before you even finished speaking. There were times I discussed business with her before discussing it with you. There were even things happening between us that I took to her first because I thought I needed spiritual advice.
I remember, but I do not want to use this moment to punish you for that. I told you how it made me feel, because we needed to change it. I never wanted you to discover something this painful, just so I could say I was right.
Still, I owe you an apology. I made you feel like your opinion carried less weight in your own marriage because Mama Ruth sounded more spiritual. I did not see what I was doing then, but I see it now.
I accept your apology, and I also understand why you leaned on her so much. Your first business failure shook you badly. You stopped trusting your judgment, and Mama Ruth entered that season sounding certain about everything. It probably felt like safety at the time.
That is exactly what it was. I was terrified of failing again. Every time she said, "I do not have peace," I felt relieved, because then I did not have to carry the responsibility of choosing. If the opportunity failed, it was no longer because of me. If I walked away, I could tell myself God had protected me.
That is what has to change now. Not just Mama Ruth's access to your business. The deeper issue is learning to make decisions without being paralyzed by the possibility of getting something wrong.
I am afraid of becoming the opposite now. I do not want betrayal to turn me into somebody who trusts nobody, listens to nobody, and assumes every person has a hidden motive.
Then do not go to that extreme. Boundaries are not bitterness. You can still receive advice. You can still pray with people. You can still trust people. But trust should be earned. Information should be shared wisely. And no human being should become your final authority.
I also keep thinking about Esther. Part of me is angry with her because she admitted she knew where some of the information came from. But another part of me can see that Mama Ruth trained both of us into something unhealthy. She made Esther believe taking my opportunities was simply being bold, while she made me believe stepping away was being spiritual.
Esther still has to take responsibility for what she knowingly accepted. But you do not have to decide everything about that relationship tonight. Let the truth settle first.
I lost years, Daniel. That is the part I cannot stop thinking about. Some of those opportunities could have changed the business. Maybe I would be somewhere completely different now.
Maybe. But you also do not know which ones would have failed, which ones would have caused problems, or what your life would look like if everything had gone differently. Do not spend the next 5 years grieving an imaginary version of your life.
So what do I do with the anger?
Acknowledge it, pray through it, set boundaries, repair what can be repaired. But do not build your future around recovering every old opportunity or proving how much was taken from you. That would still keep Mama Ruth at the center of your life.
I never looked at it that way.
If you spend every day investigating what she cost you, then she still controls your attention. Learn what happened, deal with what is still active, and move forward.
I think I need to pray differently tonight. For years, whenever something failed, I prayed for God to restore whatever the enemy had taken. But maybe what I need now is wisdom to stop surrendering what I still have.
Then pray for that.
Lord, I am angry, hurt, and disappointed. I do not want to pretend I am fine when I am not. But I also do not want this betrayal to control the rest of my life. Give me wisdom where I have been careless, courage where I have been afraid, and discernment without suspicion. Forgive me for the times I made another person's voice louder than the wisdom you were already giving me. Help me repair my marriage, my confidence, and the parts of my business I neglected because I was afraid to move. And help me forgive without becoming foolish again.
Amen.
It is an email from Elite Moments.
The wedding client?
Yes, they said they have made their final decision.
This one is different. I did not apply for it. I did not ask Michael to speak for me, and Uncle Donald does not even know about it. Someone remembered the project I handled years ago and recommended me. Maybe I should stop expecting it to fail before it has even started. Every other time something good came, I became excited first and afraid immediately after. I started asking who I should tell, whether Uncle would approve, whether leaving was too risky, whether something better might come. Before I knew it, the opportunity was gone. Lord, I do not want to repeat the same life again. I have blamed bad luck, blamed timing, and sometimes blamed myself until I no longer knew what to believe. But today, I am coming to you because I am tired of living like nothing can change. You gave me this life. You gave me abilities, dreams, and the desire to become something useful. I am your child. How can I continue living as if I have no God? How can I keep watching every good opportunity disappear and simply accept that this is how my life must remain? If I have been foolish, show me. If fear has kept me dependent, give me courage. If gratitude has made me afraid to leave a place I should have outgrown, help me understand the difference between honor and bondage. I do not want to blame another person for choices I made willingly. But Lord, if there is anything beyond what I can see fighting against the purpose you placed in me, let it end. Any agreement made over my life without my knowledge, any power benefiting from my stagnation, any influence that has kept me going in circles, I reject it in the name of Jesus. My life belongs to you. I will not spend another year waiting for someone else to decide when I am allowed to move. I will pray. I will use wisdom, and when you open a door, I will have the courage to walk through it. Whatever I have lost through fear, ignorance, or spiritual opposition, let this be the beginning of a different season.
What is happening?
Father, let every hidden thing come into the light. Let every wrong connection lose its hold over my life. I do not belong to fear, and I do not belong to any human being. I belong to Jesus Christ.
Not again. If I stop him now, he will start asking more questions.
Yes, this is Frank. Thank you. I saw the email. Yes, I am interested. Tomorrow afternoon is fine. I can attend the interview online. Thank you very much. Tomorrow already. They have also sent the full job description and salary range. I am not telling Uncle Donald yet. Not because I am hiding from him, but because I need to make this decision without allowing another promise to replace something real.
You were praying very early this morning. Everything all right?
I am all right. I just needed to speak honestly with God about my life. I realized I have spent too much time being afraid of what might happen if I make the wrong move. I do not want fear controlling my decisions anymore.
There is nothing wrong with praying, but be careful not to become desperate. When people become desperate for change, they can start interpreting every little thing as a sign and make decisions they later regret.
I agree. That is why I am not asking God to make decisions for me without wisdom. I am asking Him to help me stop running away from responsibility because I am afraid of mistakes.
Has something happened? You sound like you are preparing to make another big decision.
Nothing I am ready to discuss yet. I just want to make sure that whatever comes next, I judge it by what is actually in front of me, not by promises of something better that may never happen.
Just remember that people who care about you may see dangers you do not see. Independence does not mean refusing advice.
I know, but advice should help me make a decision, not replace the decision. I think I am finally beginning to understand that.
As long as you know what you are doing. Hello. What do you mean the payment has been suspended? Since when? No, that cannot be right. We already signed everything.
They moved me directly to the final interview. Thank you, Lord. I will do my part. I will not run from this one.
I do not know why I am afraid to open it. A few weeks ago, I would have immediately called Mama Ruth and asked her to pray before I checked the result. Now I am sitting here realizing how much of my confidence I handed away without noticing.
Whatever is inside that email does not decide whether you have changed. If they chose another company, you will learn from it and continue. If they chose you, you will do the work well. The important thing is that this time you followed the process without allowing fear or someone else's opinion to make the decision for you.
Daniel, I got it. They chose my company. Elite Moments has awarded us the full catering contract.
Congratulations. You earned this one. You prepared the proposal, attended the meeting even when you were afraid, protected the information, and followed through instead of walking away.
I know it is only one contract, but it feels bigger than that. I nearly cancelled that meeting because of a dream that was not even mine. If I had stayed home, I probably would have spent years believing God closed another door for me.
That is why this should not become a lesson that every warning is false. The lesson is that you have to pray, think, and take responsibility. You cannot let someone else's certainty become a substitute for your own discernment.
I understand that now. I also understand that winning this contract does not suddenly prove every decision I make will work. Some things will still fail. I just do not want fear making the decision before life even gets the chance to answer me.
I knew something was different when you called me this early. Congratulations. After everything that happened around this particular job, I am glad you did not allow any of it to distract you from actually finishing the process.
Thank you. But before we celebrate too much, we have work to do. This contract is bigger than most of what we have handled recently, and I do not want emotion to make me careless. We need staff schedules, equipment, suppliers, and clear costing before we start spending anything.
That sounds more like you. So what else are you changing now that you know your business information has been traveling farther than you thought?
Almost everything about how we handle sensitive information. Client proposals will no longer sit in ordinary WhatsApp chats. Only the people who actually need a document will have access to it. I am changing the passwords on our business email and cloud files, and I want every client contact properly recorded instead of scattered through my phone.
Good. And when people ask what you are working on?
I will tell them what they need to know. I used to think privacy meant I was hiding something or being suspicious. Now I understand that protecting information is simply part of running a responsible business.
I am glad you learned that without becoming bitter. After what Mama Ruth and Esther did, it would be easy to start believing nobody should know anything about your life.
I do not want to live like that. Mama Ruth betrayed my trust, but I will not use her behavior as an excuse to distrust everyone. Daniel knows what I am doing. You know what you need to know. I can still ask Pastor Elijah for counsel. The difference is that nobody gets unlimited access simply because I respect them.
And I hope you know I never wanted you to turn against Mama Ruth. I just wanted you to stop dismissing everything that did not make sense.
I know. I am sorry for the times I almost treated your concern like jealousy. When Mama Ruth tried to point me against you, I finally understood how easily I could have damaged our relationship if I had continued accepting every spiritual warning without asking for facts.
We are all right. Just promise me one thing. Do not spend the next year trying to recover every client Esther ever got. Some of those things are already gone, and chasing all of them may only keep you trapped in what happened.
I have already decided that. If there are active opportunities involving information that clearly came from me, I will deal with them properly. But I am not going from company to company explaining how I was betrayed. I want my work to introduce me, not my pain. Elite Moments has confirmed the wedding contract, which means the next few weeks will be busy. I want everyone to understand that we are not going to overpromise because we are excited. If we need extra hands, we bring them in early. If equipment needs servicing, we do it now. This client trusted our proposal, so what we deliver must match what we promised.
Congratulations, Ma. We have been waiting for a contract like this. If we plan early, I think we can handle it without putting too much pressure on everyone.
Exactly, and going forward, please do not discuss client names, budgets, or event details outside the team. It is not because we are hiding anything, it is because clients trust us with information, and our business plans also need to be protected.
You look different today. Not because you got the contract. You look like someone who finally believes she is allowed to run her own business.
Maybe I am starting to. I used to believe confidence meant never making mistakes. That is why I kept looking for someone who seemed certain about everything. Now, I think confidence is knowing I can make a careful decision and still recover if it does not work.
That sounds healthier.
I also realized something. Esther becoming successful never meant she collected whatever God put inside me. Even if she benefited from information that belonged to me, she did not become me. My ability to cook, plan, lead people, build relationships, and create ideas did not disappear because someone misused my trust.
Exactly. What happened was wrong, but you do not have to describe yourself as empty because someone took advantage of you.
For a long time, I looked at Esther's progress and felt as if every good thing happening for her was proof that something had left my life. I do not want to think like that anymore. What is mine to develop is still my responsibility. Esther sent me a message.
What does she want?
She says she has gone through some of her old records like she promised. She wants to meet me because there are several active contacts she believes came directly from information Mama Ruth gave her. She says there are things I still need to know.
Do you want me to come with you?
Not yet. Esther admitted her part without being forced, so I will hear what she has to say. But this time I am going into the conversation with my eyes open. I am not looking for another reason to be angry. I just want the truth, so I can deal with what is still active and leave the rest behind.
I went through my old messages, client records, and some of the notes Mom used to send me. I promised you I would be honest about anything still active, but when I started looking properly, I realized there was more than I remembered. Some things happened so gradually that I stopped questioning where the information came from.
I'm not here to fight you, Esther. I already know you benefited from information Mama Ruth gave you. What I need now is clarity about anything that is still affecting my business. I do not want to spend the next year reopening every old contract that has already ended.
That is why I separated everything. These first few are old opportunities that are finished, so there is nothing useful to recover from them. But these ones are different. They are contacts I still work with today, and I first approached them because Mom gave me information that originally came from you.
How many are we talking about?
4 active contacts that I can confirm. 2 eventually became regular clients. 1 has only used me once, and the other still sends inquiries occasionally. I am not saying every job they gave me should have been yours, because after the first contact, I built my own relationship with them. But I would never have reached them at that time without information Mom got from you.
That is fair. I am not going to demand that clients stop working with you because you later built a genuine business relationship with them. But I do want the truth about how the first connection happened. If I approach any of them in the future, I do not want you or Mama Ruth interfering.
I understand. I have written down the names, dates, and what I remember Mom telling me. I also included screenshots where I still had them. I deleted some old conversations years ago, so I cannot prove everything, but I did not want to hide what I could confirm.
Some of these dates are the same periods when Mama Ruth was advising me to slow down. I remember this company. She told me their management looked unreliable and that I should not be desperate because of money.
She contacted me about them less than a week later. At the time, I did not know exactly what she had told you. She only said there was a company looking for catering services and that you were not interested anymore.
That is how she always made it sound. As if I had freely decided I did not want the opportunity. She never told you that sometimes she was the person strongly advising me to walk away.
Not in the beginning. Later, I started understanding more. There were times she would say things like, "Grace will not do anything with this one," or, "I have already told her not to rush." I should have asked more questions. Instead, I was happy that opportunities were coming to me.
You were wrong, Esther. But I appreciate that you are not pretending anymore. What I do not understand is why Mama Ruth needed to keep me small to help you grow. She could have supported both of us.
I think it became bigger than helping me. Mom likes people depending on her. I did not understand it properly until all this happened.
What do you mean?
You are not the only person she handled that way. I am not saying she gave everybody's business opportunities to me. She did not. But there are younger women in the prayer group who consult her about almost everything. Marriage decisions, jobs, moving to another city, even whether to accept certain friendships. Mom likes being the person everyone comes back to before they decide.
Did she deliberately mislead any of them?
I cannot say that because I do not know enough, and I do not want to accuse her of things I cannot prove. But I have heard her become angry when someone made an important decision without telling her first. She would say they were rejecting spiritual covering or becoming proud. I used to think that was normal because I grew up around it.
That sounds exactly like what happened with me. The moment I started keeping information private, she did not simply ask why. She warned me about pride. Then when I began questioning her, she tried to convince me BC was spiritually dangerous.
That is part of why I decided to give you all this. What Mom did to your business was wrong, but I think the bigger problem is that she has started confusing guidance with control. If nobody says anything, she may continue doing it with people who trust her the way you did.
I do not want to turn this into revenge. I also do not want us walking around church telling people stories and destroying her name before anyone has properly looked at the facts.
Neither do I. That is why I think we should speak to Pastor Elijah, not with rumors, with what we actually know. Cedar Crest, the messages I still have, the client records, and what I personally participated in.
I agree. Pastor Elijah already knows part of what happened because Daniel and I spoke to him before the truth came out. But at that time, we only had suspicions and the old contract. This is different.
I am willing to tell him my part, even if it makes me look bad. I cannot ask Mom to take responsibility while I hide what I knowingly accepted.
That matters. I do not know what our relationship will look like after this, Esther. I am still hurt, and trust will not return because we had one honest conversation. But telling the truth is better than continuing the lie.
I understand. I am not asking you to trust me immediately. I just want to stop benefiting from something I know was wrong.
Then we will take the records to Pastor Elijah. After that, we allow the church leadership to decide what needs to be investigated. I do not want to become judge, investigator, and victim all at once.
That is fair.
A few months ago, if somebody had told me I would be sitting here discussing evidence against Mama Ruth, I would have defended her before they finished speaking. That is how completely I trusted her.
I know. That is probably why she never expected you to question anything.
Then maybe the most important thing I recovered was not a contract. It was the courage to ask whether something actually made sense. Let us take this to Pastor Elijah. Whatever happens after that should be based on truth, not anger.
Mom, something is wrong. It is not one business problem anymore. The payment I told you about is still frozen. One of my biggest partners suddenly wants out. And yesterday, another deal we have been working on for months collapsed without warning. Everything seems to be turning at the same time.
I already know something has changed. That is why I told you to come. What I did concerning Frank is no longer holding the way it used to. Whatever kept things flowing towards you while his own life remained stagnant has been disturbed.
Disturbed by what? Frank is still living in my house. I have done exactly what you told me for years. He has not moved out, and until recently he was still depending on me for almost everything.
His body being inside your house is no longer the important thing. Something changed in him. He has started resisting what he used to accept without understanding. The boy is praying differently, thinking differently, and beginning to separate himself from your control.
I told you his prayers had changed. He keeps talking about purpose, destiny, anything fighting his progress, and wanting God to expose what he cannot see. The other morning, he prayed for almost an hour. I wanted to stop him, but I knew he would become suspicious if I did.
And you should have told me immediately how serious it had become. I warned you that the danger was not ordinary church attendance. For years, he prayed like someone asking God to make life easier. Now he is praying like someone who has realized something is wrong and is demanding an answer.
Then, do something about it. That is why I came here. Whatever you did before, do it again. I cannot watch everything I built begin to collapse, because Frank suddenly became serious about prayer.
You still do not understand. I cannot simply repeat it as though nothing has happened. Something has broken. The access you enjoyed through his ignorance and dependence is no longer open in the same way.
What do you mean, broken? You told me as long as I kept him close, I would continue benefiting. Frank is still there. I have spent years making sure he never had enough reason to leave.
And that worked while he believed staying with you was safety. It worked while every opportunity could be redirected by fear, delay, and your promises. But the boy has started rejecting that dependence inside himself even before leaving your house physically.
He has changed. I can see it. He no longer tells me everything. A few days ago, I asked whether something was happening because he was preparing documents and taking calls. He told me he would speak when he was ready. Frank has never spoken to me like that before.
Exactly. And something else has happened. The protection around him has become stronger. I do not know exactly what he prayed, but whatever he did, he has placed his life before his God in a way he had not done before.
So what am I supposed to do now? I cannot lose everything because he suddenly discovered faith. I have employees, properties, investments. My whole life is tied to these businesses.
Then listen carefully. Frank must leave your house.
Leave? For years, every instruction you gave me was the opposite. You told me never to allow him to move away. You said if he left my reach, everything would begin to change. Now that things are already changing, you want me to send him away?
Because keeping him there is no longer helping you. It may now become dangerous. Before, his presence strengthened what was benefiting you. Now, whatever is fighting for him is beginning to turn against what was done. If you keep forcing him to remain, you may lose much more than what is already shaking.
Then you have destroyed me. You were the one who told me Frank carried something unusual. You were the one who said I could benefit if he stayed close. I followed your instructions. And now you are telling me the same arrangement may destroy everything I have.
Do not stand in my house and behave as if you were forced into anything. When you had nothing, you came here crying because every business you touched was failing. When I showed you what could be done, did you refuse?
I was desperate. I did not understand what it would become.
You understood enough to continue when the money started coming. You understood enough to buy property, expand your businesses, and enjoy the respect that followed. Every time I told you Frank must remain dependent, you found another promise to keep him there. Do not suddenly make me the only wicked person because the consequences have reached your door.
He trusted me. That is the part I cannot stop thinking about now. Even Sarah trusted me with him because she believed I was helping her son. I kept telling myself I was still giving him a comfortable life. But the truth is that whenever he came close to leaving, I found a way to pull him back.
And you enjoyed the results. So stop pretending regret only entered your heart this week. You were comfortable while his own life stood still.
What exactly do you want me to do? Walk home and tell him to pack his things without explanation? That will make him suspicious immediately.
Do not throw him out in anger. That would be foolish. Let him believe you have finally accepted that he needs to stand on his own. If he already has an opportunity, encourage him to take it. Do not oppose him again.
And then what happens to me?
Give him something before he leaves.
Money?
As much as you can reasonably afford without destroying yourself. Do not see it as generosity. See it as returning something after years of benefiting while the boy remained bound to you. Give it willingly and let him leave peacefully.
Are you saying money will fix this?
I am saying you should stop holding tightly to someone whose life you have benefited from for years. What is now fighting for him is no longer something I want you provoking. Release him. Give him something substantial, and do not try to pull him back again.
So after everything, I am supposed to reward him for leaving while my businesses are collapsing?
Reward him? You still think everything belongs to you because it passed through your hands. You lived well for years while he struggled to understand why nothing stayed in his life. If giving him money feels unfair to you, then perhaps you have forgotten who benefited most from this arrangement.
I cannot believe this is where it has ended.
It has not ended. You still have businesses. You still have property. But the unusual ease you enjoyed may be gone. From now on, you may have to build and maintain things the way ordinary people do, with work, judgment, risk, and consequences.
And if everything collapses after Frank leaves?
Then you rebuild what you can. But if you keep him there now, because you are afraid of losing wealth, you may discover that holding him is what makes the losses worse.
He recently received another opportunity. I do not know all the details because he stopped telling me everything, but I overheard part of a call. Whatever it is, it seems serious. A few weeks ago, I would have found a way to convince him to stay.
Do not. This time let him go.
For years, every opportunity that could take him away felt like a threat to me. I told myself I was protecting him, but really, I was protecting what I was getting from him.
At least you are finally saying the truth without decorating it.
Do not speak as though you are innocent. You started this.
And you continued it because you enjoyed it. Do not bring me your conscience now and expect me to carry it for you. I showed you the road, Donald. You were the one living comfortably on it. Go home. Do not fight Frank. Do not discourage whatever opportunity has come. When he says he wants to leave, agree. Give him something meaningful and release him completely.
And if he asks why I suddenly changed?
Tell him the truth you can safely tell, that you finally believe it is time for him to build his own life. For once, say something that is actually true.
I came here expecting you to repair what was happening. Instead, you are telling me to release the one person you spent years warning me never to release.
Because what worked before is no longer working. Except that before your refusal costs you more.
Mom, sometimes I think you destroyed my life.
No, Donald. You enjoyed the wealth when it was coming. Do not call it my life now that the price has arrived.
We have taken time to review the information Grace and Esther brought to us, including the messages, the Cedar Crest incident, and the records showing how some business information was passed from Grace to Esther. We also spoke with Mama Ruth separately before asking everyone to meet today.
I understand.
This meeting is not about humiliating anyone. Mama Ruth has served in this church for years and has genuinely helped many people. We are not going to erase every good thing she has done, because serious mistakes were also made. But good service cannot be used to excuse behavior that became unhealthy.
That is all I wanted from the beginning. I did not want revenge. I only wanted the truth to be acknowledged so nobody would keep telling me I was imagining what happened.
The business issue is clear enough. Confidential information Grace shared in what she believed was spiritual confidence was passed to Esther on several occasions. In some cases, Grace was advised to step away from opportunities before Esther was encouraged to pursue them. That was wrong.
I accept that now. At the time, I kept telling myself I was helping Esther use opportunities Grace was not going to use. I did not allow myself to admit that I was influencing Grace's decisions and then benefiting my daughter from the same information.
I also participated. There were times I knew the information came from Grace and still used it because I wanted my business to grow. I cannot put everything on Mom and pretend I had no choice.
I appreciate you saying that. I am still hurt, but at least I know we are no longer hiding behind explanations.
The second concern is broader than business. We also spoke with several women who have received guidance from Mama Ruth over the years. Not all of them reported harmful experiences, and we did not find evidence that she was deliberately misleading everyone. But there is a repeated pattern of people feeling guilty or spiritually unsafe when they made major decisions without consulting her first.
I did not realize it had become like that. I thought I was helping people avoid mistakes. When someone came to me confused, I wanted to give them direction. After a while, people began depending on me, and I think I started depending on being needed too.
That is an important thing to admit. Spiritual leadership becomes unhealthy when people begin believing they cannot hear God, think wisely, or make responsible decisions unless one particular person approves them.
I can see that now. When Grace started keeping things from me, I did not simply ask whether she needed space. I felt rejected. I called it pride because I did not like losing the influence I had over her.
That part was difficult for me. I was trying to grow. But every step toward making my own decisions felt like I was disappointing God, because you connected independence with spiritual danger.
I am sorry, Grace. I should have taught you to become stronger, not make you afraid of moving without me. And I should never have used what you trusted me with to help Esther.
Thank you for admitting it. I needed to hear that more than I needed another explanation.
Because of what has happened, Mama Ruth will step away from leading the women's prayer group for now. She will also receive counseling and accountability before any decision is made about returning to leadership.
I accept that. I do not like it, but I understand why it is necessary.
This is not punishment for the sake of punishment. Leadership requires trust. When that trust is damaged, time and accountability are necessary. Restoration should be real, not rushed.
Grace, I know saying sorry does not return the opportunities you lost or undo the years you trusted me without questioning anything, but I am sorry. I convinced myself that because I was praying for you and helping you in other ways, my intentions were good enough to excuse the things I was doing.
I forgive you, Mama Ruth. I do not want to carry bitterness against you. But I also need to be clear that forgiveness does not mean our relationship goes back to what it was before.
I understand.
I will not send you business proposals, client information, or private decisions for approval anymore. If I ever ask you for advice in the future, it will be advice, not permission. And if I disagree with you, I need to be able to do that without being told I am rejecting God.
That is fair. I think I taught you to treat my confidence as certainty, and after a while, I also started believing I had a right to that place in your life.
You helped me during a very weak season, and I will always remember that. But I also learned something important from all this. Someone can help you deeply and still become unhealthy for you later. Gratitude should not blind you to what a relationship has become.
That is something both of us had to learn. Grace did not need to choose between respecting Mama Ruth and thinking for herself. The problem was believing she could not do both.
And asking questions should never automatically be treated like rebellion. If something is true, it should survive reasonable questions.
I have already contacted the active clients we discussed. I did not tell them to stop working with me because that would create confusion, but I made it clear that Grace is also available for future opportunities, and that there should be no interference if she approaches them directly.
That is enough. I am not trying to take your business apart. I only wanted the unfair advantage to stop. It will, but honesty is a better place to start than pretending nothing happened.
How do you feel now that everything has finally been addressed?
Lighter. Not because I recovered every old opportunity, because I did not. I think I feel lighter because I no longer need to spend my life wondering whether I was imagining the pattern or whether someone secretly took something from me.
And you also know not every setback will have someone behind it.
Exactly. Some contracts will still go to other people. Some ideas will fail. Some decisions I make will be wrong. That does not mean somebody is using my destiny. It means life still requires wisdom, work, and responsibility.
That sounds like a much healthier way to live.
I used to think the safest life was one where somebody spiritually stronger always told me what to do. Now I understand that real spiritual growth should make me more responsible before God, not permanently dependent on another person. It is a young woman from church. She asked me last week if I could mentor her because she wants to start a small baking business. It is a young woman from church. She asked me last week if I could mentor her because she wants to start a small baking business.
Are you going to tell her exactly what God wants her to do?
Absolutely not. I will help her think, pray, and plan. Then she will make her own decisions.
I showed you the road, Donald. You were the one enjoying the journey.
Your uncle's guest room was probably bigger than this whole place.
Maybe. But this small place feels bigger to me because I am no longer afraid to leave it when the next right door opens.